Hi, fifth grade. After you have your watercolor techniques done, you're going to take a white crayon and you're going to do resist wherever you want the paper to stay white. So far I've created a light source. So on the sides of my mountains, I put white. I white completely colored in my clouds. I put it on like a gleam off of my planet up here. I did some stars in the sky. I did some in my water and where the water crashes down and in the pools, the reflections. So I spent a whole lot of time putting my white crayon down. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to start way at the background or the top of your page, and you're going to do a wash because that might be the biggest section that you have. Try to make sure you are being careful with your wash, going in between everything and putting your water down. You might even want to work little small sections at a time because if you have a big section, there's a chance that your paper from the wash will dry out before you have a chance to lay down the paint. The more time you take with that white crayon, the better chance that your white will stay white. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. So because I did this, I have some of it wet, I'm going to make sure I'm using my tertiaries, lots of tertiary colors. Remember, that's a primary mixed with a secondary. So I think I'm going to do blue-violet for my space sky. And then I'm going to paint that in. And you should be able to see then how it kind of controls around the other areas. It won't go into my cloud very much because I colored it with white crayon. And then you can kind of see where I had the stars show up. Another thing you can do for stars is the salt trick. So if you want to do a combination of the two, you can draw some in. I don't want to see the childish, up, down, over kind of stars. Maybe just some twinkling or some dots, some gleam. You can see it kind of showing in there. And remember, you can always do wet on wet, where it's kind of starbursty. You can kind of smear those colors around. And then you also can borrow my salt shaker and add a little salt to get even more of that space effect in your sky. So you're working at all different types of textures and things with just the background today. We got to let things dry before we can move into the other sections. So if you want colors more bright and vivid, you have to go over with more color. As you get closer down below, you might see it get darker, and you want to take your time with your brush, not getting it too wet. If things get out of control, you can always dab it with a paper towel, but let that be your last resort. So you're kind of carefully going over things. Salt should be very last, so if you borrow the salt, you want to make sure that everything's kind of pretty, but it also needs to be wet for it to work. You can also turn your paper as you work. You don't have to keep reaching your arm super far away, just so you can kind of get closer. And nice clean brush strokes, edge to edge, carefully going around things. A wash will help you to get things wet faster. All right, so we are trying out our watercolor techniques. You are showing me the understanding of the watercolor techniques, and then you are getting graded on the painting. So make sure you're doing as neat of a job as you possibly can. All right, thank you so much for listening.